Hello, Flashtubers. How's everybody doing? So it's April. um, so on this video is going to be like my March wrap up and my April update, I guess. I am going to have two tutorial videos, I believe. One is with the lane tools that I was asked. The second one was a question regarding what do you do when you're stitching a canvas and you come across an intersection where there's not quite a definite color? You can have half of one color, half of another in the intersection, or you have maybe three colors in that intersection. So I use the flower canvas as a sample to show at least how I look at it. And basically, I asked that question. The very first class I took in needle pointing, I asked the instructor, I said, what do you do? Is there a rule? Do you go, what the majority color is? Do you go by the lighter? Do you go by the darker? And in the video, I go over that in detail, but basically it's quite open to interpretation. So, whip. Progress. I was going to have a rotation between the flower and the eagle. That didn't happen. I also didn't have a lot of stitchy time in March and up to now. So I basically have been concentrating on the flower. So I will bring this up, put a little background there so you guys can see where we're at, or where I'm at. This is how far I've done. Pretty much this flower is almost complete. There's actually 3 flowers in the canvas, which, to be honest with you, I didn't even know that. It just looked like one big flower. But as I've been stitching it, you can see that it's been changing. And I also modified this color here. This particular flower was going to be a little bit more like a peachy with a little bit of purple, like lavender. I love lavender, so I changed it. I changed all of the colors out. For this particular flower here, the others are basically going to stay as they were painted, but the primary flower is more of a lavender now. I also tied in lavender on the edges and some of it up here. So this is where she is, coming along pretty nicely. So like I said, I really didn't stitch on the eagle very much this past month. I basically didn't have a lot of, well, I haven't had a lot of stitchy time. That's going to change here within the next couple of, actually, as of today, I pretty much have a life again, so I will be stitching a little bit more. I do have a purchase, actually 2 of them. Yeah, I just couldn't pass them up. So this particular canvas, I am going to pretty much, at this point, I'm not quite sure if it's going to be a pillow, if it's going to be a hanging, meaning not necessarily framed for the wall, but like a hanging. I think I have a sample of it, but I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. Here she is. This is on a 13 count canvas. And one of the reasons why I picked it is because it's beautiful for the holidays, but not quite Christmas. I love these terracotta pots, the wreath here, and this little, I think it's like a little, I don't know exactly what that is. Actually, it looks like a planter, and then the wreath is coming out of it. It's got beautiful fall colors. I really like this piece. It's very pretty. I mean, it can go along with some of the other floral, which I don't have that many. I don't have that many floral canvases, so that's actually pretty nice. This particular canvas, the next one, is a new design. I was not looking to buy any more canvases, but I love parrots. If you've seen one of my earlier videos, you would have seen a parrot that I stitched that is in a serving tray right now. It's a finished piece. Never had anything from this designer before. Elizabeth Turner, and this is the Middleton, I believe. There's 4 of them. I only found 1 so far. And they are stitched, I believe, in a 13 count canvas. Yeah, these guys, she has done a fantastic job in painting them. So here's parrot number 1. As you can see, the very vibrant colors that she has used in the bird. I mean, these beautiful greens and yellows, and then she brings in this floral background in the bird itself. beautiful detail on the beak. I mean, this is it's a fantastic piece. I may reconsider my plan for this year. This canvas is kitted, and I chose, for this particular canvas, I chose Planet Earth Fibers. Now, here's the reason why. I'm sorry, I'm kind of moving around the camera. Here's the reason why. Planet Earth is they're very bright colors. So if you have a piece that you want to really bring out colors, Planet Earth is what you want to use. And I'll show you a sample of these colors. So if you see, like right here, these are the pinks. I had this all organized. Honestly, I did. Here are the colors, a couple of them, to show you how vibrant they are. And they're pretty, I mean, they do stand out. It's very soft, not as silk, and it's a little thicker that you would have with, let's say, a vineyard silk, which would be a little softer color. There's one of the yellows. Oops, a little bit of glare. And let's see about some of the greens. I have greens and there's blues, some browns. So here's some of the other colors. I mean, as you can see, I mean, these, they are quite vibrant. These colors are very, very vibrant. I have some pinks, let me see. And that's just a sample. There's a couple of other colors here. I'm trying to bring out the brighter ones with some of the darker colors so you can see the contrast of what they look like. Here's a few more. There's the blue right here. I mean, these guys, when they're next to each other, are really going to stand out. So it's going to be really, really pretty. Like I said, there's going to be 2 tutorial videos that I'm going to put right behind this video. That's pretty much what I have. I don't have a huge amount of purchases or anything else like that. I'm trying to keep the purchase thing down. One thing I do want to share with everyone is, oh, I just had a complete brain emptying. Oh yes, I have seen a lot of you guys doing the, I believe it's called Lavender and Lace designs, the Heaven and Earth designs, and I wanted to show, I'm undecided, okay, so I'm going to give needlepoint a rest once I'm done with the flower, maybe, but in preparation for that, hold on just a second. I'm back. So in preparation for that, I have a couple of things that I found and I didn't know that I have. Okay, so there is a local needlepoint store that I go to all the time. There is now a local stitching store that does needlepoint. It does Brazilian embroidery, cross stitch, and I can't remember what, there was something else. And they were having a humongous sale. I have never been in that store before, and quite a few of these guys were actually not priced badly. I may be crazy for picking these things. I don't know. But here you go. So these are, oops, the Lavender and Lace. This is, I believe she is called Spring. Summer. Yeah, there's a little bit of glare. I apologize for that. This is Autumn, Winter, and this is Noel. This one here is Noel. They also had 2, what do they call? These are Mirabilia. 2 designs that I thought, I have seen this one being stitched. I think it's a Stash Queen. And a couple of other stitchers. I apologize if I don't remember your name. I've been looking at like a gazillion YouTube FlossTube videos, and I've seen this particular one a couple of times, and I think it's drop dead gorgeous. Here she is. It's a beautiful piece. And then I believe this one is Witch, or she's called a Witch or something like that. I'm not sure. Gypsy Queen. Okay, this is at the Met. This is the first one I showed you, and this one's called Gypsy Queen. There's Gypsy Queen. Call me crazy. I totally am. I picked these up. I did not kit them. I am a little nervous about doing these particular pieces. I know that there's quite a bit of beading that goes with them. I'm not scared about the beading part. My worry is more, the last time I did a cross stitch design, I had a huge migraine. But I do have, I think, better tools. Teresa Little Stitcher showed that headpiece that you can use as a magnifier, which I have ordered. It's not here yet, but I also have a magnifier that I can use. It's on a big stand. It has a light and all kinds of stuff that I can use that to help me with the cross stitching. So I am going to, I guess, take a stab at one of these. I know that also a lot of you guys have mentioned the heights, that they're fairly easy to start because you pretty much go in the upper right hand corner, upper left hand corner, you just start stitching on your way down. Pretty much just go that way. I may purchase a Stitch in Time. I believe Stitch in Time. Teresa Little Stitcher showed that design. It's awesome. Beautiful stitching time. So I may order one of those. And just start easy, no beading, no back stitching, no nothing, and then get a fabric stitch count that is a little bit more comfortable for my eyes, and just see where it goes. I mean, one of the main reasons why I went into needlepoint is because I didn't do too well with the cross stitching, and also a lot of decorative stitching that I do on the canvases is I really do like that, doing that. But yeah, so I have a purchase for cross stitching. We'll see how I go with those. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to my floss tube. I mean, I'm 293 subscribers. Yay! Thank you very much. I didn't think that many people would be interested in needlepoint, but I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's awesome. If anything you guys want to see, I mean, I'm not an expert, okay, in needlepoint by all means, but if there's something that you are curious about or you would like me to talk about, you just ask. If I don't know, I'll find out. But other than that, I thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoy the 2 tutorials that will follow, and I will see you guys next month. Happy stitching! Hello, floss doers. I'm back. So I had a request, or it was more of a question. What do you do when you're stitching on a canvas and you have some of these intersections that don't have such a clear color? And I'm trying to get my finger right here. So like these, for example, see how this square right here, this intersection, let me see if I can zoom in there a little bit. This one right here kind of has a little bit of dark and it kind of has more clear. Then you have another one right over here where it has a little bit of the clear and a little bit of the darker color. When I was taking my first classes to learn how to needlepoint, I asked that exact same question. What do you do when you come to a crossing or an intersection where you're not quite sure what color to use? And the answer that I received from the instructor was, that's where the artistry of the stitcher comes into play. And over time, I actually figured out what that meant. So basically, what it is you have to not only take a look at how this area here is painted, okay? And, you know, the 2 colors that are there. But you also need to take a picture of take a look at the overall picture and see what exactly did the artist try to do. So for example, in that particular area that I had a close-up, it's painted to where there's a nice dark pink shading towards the edge. And then everything else on the inside is supposed to be a pale pink. So based on that is how I stitch, meaning I will leave enough here in these intersections, and I'll close it in, these intersections to all be a darker pink, okay? And then I will leave the rest open to where I can put the lighter pink. Other areas that are good examples are like in the center of the flower. Oops, where am I get my finger there? Here we go. So here in the center of the flower, so if you can see here, it's got a light color and then it has a darker color. The way I'm interpreting this is, yes, I am going to go ahead and stitch this in a darker color, or I have the option to where I can stitch it in a darker color with a very thin or lighter thread and put a bead above it. That's a darker bead. So you have different options of what you can do as far as, you know, what exactly is this supposed to mean. So for example, here's this kind of grayish line. I'm determining that that is part of her sketch when she outlined the entire design, but not necessarily stitch that in any particular color, because if you pull it out, it doesn't really follow anything in that area, meaning it doesn't enhance it, it doesn't retract from it, it just doesn't do anything. So I basically am not going to do anything in that area. Again, when you're stitching, you have to take into consideration what it is the artist was trying to do and stitch according to that. So it's very, very liberal, meaning that you can basically stitch any way you want. I mean, I could basically change this area here and make it all a light pink or all a dark pink. I try to follow the artist's design as best as I can, but there are times when I'll go ahead and just, you know, it looks better to me. So for example, this area down here, okay, these stitches, these very small stitches that you see on the outside, that was not painted that way. I did that because I like the effect it gives. It was originally painted like this area here in the back, okay, very sharp, no transition from one color to the other. And I'm okay with it this way in the upper right hand corner. But I do like the transition better on the larger area of the flower where it goes from the lighter to the darker. And I basically try to bring it around all the way in the front. So again, that is basically a decision that I made as the stitcher rather than how it was painted. So I hope that answers some questions. If you want me to use some more examples or show you how I actually stitch it, just let me know. This is Valerie again. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello, floss tubers. It's me again. I had a request to show how to use a laying tool. And I thought I'd also share with everybody the different kinds of laying tools that are in the market. And there's several of them. Some of them, you know, depends on your preference. Others I use differently because of the type of thread that I'm working with. So this one in particular is basically encased in acrylic. When you undo the top, it has a metal point. This one is actually pretty good for traveling because a lot of times they don't allow you to take a laying tool on a plane. So there's this type. There's also the acrylic, which I use on a regular basis. This is fairly short, very comfortable. It doesn't snag on any kind of the threads, and it fits pretty comfortably in my hand. So there's the acrylic. We also have the one that I call the poker, and this one is a very traditional laying tool. It's very long and very pointy. I learned how to use a laying tool with this particular one. Problem is, if you drop it, which I normally do, this little point kept poking my foot. So I have my solution is I basically take a wine bottle cork and I keep it covered this way, especially when I'm not using it, because it really is it's a dangerous tool. This one is acrylic on the base with a wooden tip. It's a little fatter. It works really nice when you're using wool. If you need to lay the wool down for a particular stitch that you're using, this one's really good. For me anyway, that's the one that I use. This one is all wood. It has a nice little rounded tip. It's not very pointy. This one is really good when I use the Neon Rays, the Dinky Dyes. They flow very smoothly on this particular tool, and it's a nice size. So it fits, you know, this is how I was taught. Just fits in my hand. I put my thumb here, and this is what guides the threads. And I'll show you guys in a minute how it is that I use that. Then there's this new one on the market. Has like this little designer piece. This is a porcupine quill. It's a little pliable. See, it moves a little bit. And sometimes you get into a little corner that you can't quite use a straight laying tool. You actually need a little bit of give. That's what this guy does. And it works really well. They're a nice size. They come in all, and this is natural. It just kind of tapers down into the edge. But it's a porcupine quill. I thought that was really cool. And I've used it several times because I do get into a little spot where I need some give. This guy does it. The last one, well, not the last one, a more traditional one is this trolley one. It's like a trolley needle. This particular one you can use pretty much in any finger. It just depends on your preference. And what it is technically is literally, it's a needle that they've welded to this piece that fits on your finger. You can even put it on your thumb if you like to use your thumb for the laying tool. The last one is one that I don't use very often. This is a glass laying tool. I mean, these guys are gorgeous. They are very fragile, but if you have a very delicate thread, like a Burma this is excellent to use. It slides very smoothly. It does not snag. It fits really, really well to your hand as you're using it. It fits very nicely. You just have to be very careful with these because you can't apply too much pressure. And if you drop it, you basically lost it because it will crack. So those are the laying tools, at least a variety of them. I know that there's more out in the market. So how we use a laying tool, at least let me focus just a little bit. How I use a laying tool, and I'm just using, this is kind of like a doodle canvas, I guess you can call it. I practice a lot of stitches. I always have a piece. This is a new one that I've been practicing on. So the way that I do it, at least how I was taught, is when I come out, okay, I basically comb the threads. I like combing the threads out. I'm going to hold the thread down, and let's say I'm going up into this particular hole. I'm going to pull the thread, and then I'm going to bring it up and gently guide it down. Okay, I am basically combing the thread. So you see how it lays very nicely? Okay, we're going to do that again. I'm going to come up in this hole right here. And I apologize if the camera moves a little bit because I'm actually looking at the camera as I'm doing this. I pull either down or up. It depends on which way you're coming up through the canvas. You're going to, again, comb the thread down, hold it in place, go into whichever hole you're going to be bringing the stitch in. Hold it with your laying tool. Okay, you're going to hold it with your laying tool. You're going to, oops, sorry, and that does happen. Bring it up, guide it down, and just comb the thread. Okay, see me combing the thread? Once you do that, see how nicely the thread lies down? I'll do one more. I'll do one over here so we can see. So again, pull it out, hold it down, kind of comb the thread. Go to whichever hole you're going to be going into, pull it. Now you're going to use the laying tool to come up, guide the thread down, and as you're pulling the thread underneath the canvas, you're combing it. So when she lays down, I mean, she literally lays down without having any bumpies or anything else like that. So basically, that's pretty much how I've learned to use a laying tool. I hope that that's useful information for you guys. And if you have any more questions or you want to see anything else demonstrated, just leave a comment down below and I will do my best to show you. Thanks very much.